guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. Today is Monday, July 31st, 2017. Leah just says to me, she's like, we're happy that people in the Trump administration are finally starting to understand and know the things that we have been telling you guys for months and months and months. One of them being what is happening with drugs coming out of Afghanistan.
Entering the United States in the form of heroin.
Yes. So and for those of you that don't know, I want to give a little bit of a backstory, very brief. Leah and I have worked with in the past young men who were addicted to heroin and other drugs when a very dear friend of ours, a young man who was going through a heroin addiction as well, went to Teen Challenge, and we were able to volunteer and deal one-on-one with these guys. And so this is a subject that is very near and dear to our heart because we have seen the effects, we have seen the deaths, and we have heard straight from them how they're kind of offended, or not offended, but taking it personally that this is a war against them. Absolutely.
But we did it in the power of God. Don't do this.
Don't do this at home. Yeah, don't take heroin addicts into your house because they'll steal all your stuff. It's not their fault, but it'll happen.
You need the power of God protect you.
You do need the power of God.
So what's, I don't know, if many of you don't know, we have a heroin epidemic. We have drug ODs all the time.
It's really bad here in Ohio.
Got a fentanyl laced heroin. That's how he died. So in this exclusive interview with Breitbart News, U.S. Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction, Seager, John Sobko. Now he is a little hero. We first heard about him. We're going to play you the clip with Thomas Massey. He will lay it down. He describes himself as just a country lawyer. So that's how we're going to bring him to you, okay? I don't know if there's a link, but it seems to me somebody ought to be looking at that at DEA or somewhere else in the Department of Justice. It just seems somebody should do it. It's not my job, but just as a U.S. citizen, I'm a taxpayer citizen, and I would be concerned about that. Sobko indicated that Afghanistan's opium crisis remains a U.S. national security concern because it continues to destabilize the American taxpayer-funded country by fueling corruption and the Taliban.
They are literally getting money from our young and old people. That's how the drug. So when it costs, $50 to go buy one score of heroin, that $50 is getting trickled down all the way back to Afghanistan. Citing
American General John Nicholson, the top commander of the U.S. and NATO troops in Afghanistan, Sobko said, "I think 60% of the Taliban's money comes from opium. A lot of the opium money is used to bribe the government officials, so their loyalty is mixed. One of the biggest reasons we are there is to create a strong central government." Although the United States has spent more than $8 billion on counter-narcotics efforts in Afghanistan, the country remains the world's top producer of opium and its heroin derivative. I want to take you to, again...
Are you sure they're not just making Oxycontin and other prescribed drugs from that? You know what? They probably are. And you know what? Those are being dealt illegally on the streets as well.
We've showed you guys this video several times. This is our adopted Congressman, Representative Thomas Massey, and he asks some rather... logical questions about this very subject.
Let's talk a little bit about the counter-narcotics side of this. Has opiate production gone up or down since 2002 in Afghanistan?
It's one of the most popular crops. It's been a success. Yes, opium production is up.
And what percent of the world's supply of non-pharmaceutical opiates
I
from Afghanistan?
think, sir, it's 80 to 90%.
That's what I hear too from the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime. They say about 90% of the world's opiates, non-pharmaceutical opiates. So how much of this $113 billion have we spent on counter-narcotics efforts there?
Approximately $8.4 billion. That's billion with a B.
And how much has opiate production gone up since 2002, or since some benchmark that you can?
I don't have the exact number, but I think they're producing well more now than they did during the Taliban years.
Oh, isn't it so great? We're funding it.
It has been the only successful export from Afghanistan for the 15 years.
They can't grow anything else, it seems.
Abizaid, is this consistent with what you know about opiate production in Afghanistan?
I'd need to check and get back to you on how numbers today compare to 2002. I know over the last year, mostly due to weather, there was a decrease in the poppy crop. I think that the weather patterns this year mean that that'll likely increase, but whether it's a full increase since 2002, I'd need to take that for the record, sir.
So I've read reports that opiate production has as much as tripled since we invaded Afghanistan in that country. How much do you think it's gone up, Ms. Al-Hussein? But has it gone up or down?
Sir, I'll need to take that for the record. I don't have an impression that it has tripled, but that is not something that I follow on a daily basis as part of my portfolio, so I'll check with those that do.
Hang
so
on,
the
right
counter-narcotics effort is not within the DOD?
Yes, sir, it is within the DOD.
How do you measure success if you...
She just said it's not within my portfolio. Now, I'm sorry. Forgive me for not being familiar with the ins and outs of how she deals with her issues, but she said it's not something that I follow on a day-to-day basis. It's not part of my portfolio. What does that sound like to you? Stocks? What she's saying is I can't tell you whether it's gone up or down because I don't look at it every day to see if it's gone up or down. Listen, if you owned P&G stock in 2002, and somebody asked you, has it gone up or has it gone down since 2002? You ought to be able to tell them.
Especially the...
You need to look at the day-to-day portfolio up and down.
Sir,
That's not what he
the
asked.
counter-narcotics money that the Department of Defense has spent in Afghanistan has primarily been to support the Special Mission Wing, which is an Afghan aviation program. That's actually one of the most successful programs in Afghanistan. Now, whether that's affected the overall levels of opiates and poppy cultivation, I don't have those numbers.
It's a successful program, but she doesn't know if it's dropped
reporting standards
what it
have
was supposed to
increased
do.
widely over the last...
We used the money for the counter-narcotics to give the Afghans airplanes.
And that's
14
successful.
plus years in Afghanistan as more and more credible sources have come in. So whether in 2002 there were accurate figures or not is something I just can't speak to, sir.
Would you testify today that opiate production has gone up since you started the counter-narcotics effort? Or that it's gone down? This is very simple.
I understand, sir. I'm sorry. I don't.
You don't know if it's gone up or down?
I'm sorry, I do not.
How can you account for, I mean, I trust you've had a lot of activity because you spent $8 billion there, but what about progress?
The progress that DoD has made in the use of its counter-narcotics funds are represented by the success of the Special Mission Wing, which is an Afghan aviation program. The total levels of opiate production, I will ask my staff to engage and get that answer, and I'll try and have that before the end of the hearing as well, sir.
Congressman, can I just
add?
Yes,
please, Mr. Smith.
I think what you're focusing on is so important. We tend to focus on inputs, that's the amount of money we spent, and outputs. You know, we bought a whole bunch of airplanes and we have a nice special mission wings, but we never look at the issue that you're looking at. What is the outcome? The outcome, sir, is that opium production is higher today. 2014 was the highest production year in Afghanistan. So if you look at any metrics for success or failure, and I've been doing counter-narcotics, I did it for Sam Nunn when I was on his committee for 15 years. I looked at counter-narcotics activities in the United States. You look at arrests, you look at seizures, you look at amount of crops under production, hectares under production, you look at the number of addicts. If you look at every one of those metrics, we have failed. The arrests are down, seizures are down, production is up, hectares under production is up, the amount of money being gained, and more important for Afghanistan, the amount of money going to the insurgency has increased since we've been there. So, sir, to you, and I'm just a simple country lawyer, I don't think we've succeeded in Afghanistan. I make this statement like I did before about winning. If this is winning, what is losing the drug war?
Just to close out here and to summarize what I'm hearing, the war on drugs in Afghanistan, to the extent there is a war on drugs, has been a failure.
Very good.
Now, can I say something?
Yes.
The Bible says, those who have ears, let them hear. And we rehear this in your mind. Whatever the government agency is, whether it's a law written by Congress or the Senate, whatever they say it's supposed to do, It is supposed to do the opposite.
Right.
And then if you listen to the conversation, if they're supposed to stop drugs in Afghanistan, you listen to it again, the guy said, oh, but the Afghanistan poppy production is their most successful export.
Right.
Well, that's what they're really supposed to be doing, increasing the export of heroin. Every government is the opposite of what it says it's supposed to be doing because, of course, the American people can go in and say, we're going to increase heroin.
Right.
Right. So they have to say the opposite.
So how else do you funnel money to increase drug production other than by going in saying we're spending all this money to stop it, whereas all they're doing is funneling money to...
I want to draw some lines for you guys.
And they're very happy about their success.
I want to draw some lines for you guys because the DEA maintains that only 1% of the seized heroin in the United States is coming from Afghanistan. However, the U.S. government has conceded that most of the heroin in neighboring Canada originates in Afghanistan. Now get this. Soko said this. He said, I'm not saying opium is coming here into the United States. Again, I don't look at drug distribution here, but it's kind of an anomaly. Most opium comes from Afghanistan. You look at opium heroin use, we use a heck of a lot of opium. Now, apparently the DEA says very little of it comes into the United States. I think maybe 3%, maybe 1%. However, the Canadians say a vast majority of their heroin comes from Afghanistan. Now, I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of time at the northern border. It's pretty porous. You can get across the border. I do know that if you look at the northern states, most of the heroin in Canada comes from Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the state of Maine, the state of Massachusetts, the state of Vermont, the state of New Hampshire, the state of New York, all have declared, their governors have declared, opium heroin epidemics.
And then he says there's probably more Afghan drugs here than we have said. So, while Lee is using the country accent, and that is the same Mr. Sobko that just gave that riveting kind of speech there at the end, the guy really does have a concern. He does want to make a change, and he is giving the truth. But like he said, I'm just a country lawyer here, so that's why we give that little emphasis. But he is saying the right things, and he's trying to do the best he can.
Exactly. You can tell that he has been on the front lines of this from the very beginning, and
watching it get worse and worse.
Exactly.
And worse.
Unprecedented 2015, 52,404 deaths, including 33,000, more than 60% involving an opiate like heroin.
Which, okay, so those numbers right there of that 33,091, we know personally of a few of those deaths that are in that number.
And in 2010, former President Barack Obama suspended the miles under effective control metric, which measures the U.S. government's ability to deter illegal cross-border activity. During the latest United Nations data from Afghan opium, Breitbart News has determined that during the ongoing war production, the cultivation has increased 25-fold. And I thought that you guys might want to see a little bit of what it's like to be maybe a counter-narcotics police officer in Afghanistan.
In this region, a hidden war has been raging since spring between the Taliban and ISIS militants. They're fighting for control of different territories. We've arrived in the Shibari district.
We were told drug dealers would often leave. Several people have been blown up yesterday.
About 10 hectares of poppy fields are to be cut down today. At least that's the plan. It wasn't obvious from afar where the fields in question were, but it turns out that poppies come in 4 colors. In this region, they're white. We only have 2 hours to complete the operation before news of it filters through to the Taliban or their particularly zealous ISIS opponents. The locals are much more afraid of them than of the police.
The toughest part was finding people to help the police cut down the crop. Everyone's scared because the poppy is their main income. There's no authority where poppies grow.
These people are so brave.
We soon spotted our old friends. They willingly surrendered their field, and so the authorities have no claim against them. At least that's the official line. Why, though, didn't the police simply wait a little longer, so that they could instead arrest the people who actually harvest the poppy? That remains a mystery.
You know what your losses will be this year? This year it's roughly $5,000 to $6,000.
I'm going to take a guess. It's probably a lot to them.
The brothers didn't seem too downhearted over their financial loss. There does though remain the distinct possibility that the family still owns several more fields, just like this one.
Right.
And that the authorities know nothing about them. The leader of the Shilbari district is a rare visitor to this village. He never walks anywhere without armed security guards, and his conversation with the farmers resembles a chat between a schoolteacher and a few of his cheeky pupils. This is what local authorities call a proactive talk.
Hey, Grandpa, come over here. We need to talk. Why did you sow poppies? This isn't our field. It belongs to the other people. Why do they sow poppies? They do it because they're silly. Are you happy about us cutting the poppy? Everybody's sad deep down. Well, who hasn't sown them?
While the police evaluated just how much poppy they'd wiped out, we decided to film a few more minutes of footage before we left. But our filming was slightly interrupted.
Perfect spot, the police sign. Start here and then move. You're in the shadow. Let's go over here. We don't have much time. May I in one take? Okay. Traditionally, if an operation was a success, the policemen tie a poppy bunch to the radiator. It means the operation went rather... What the heck? Let's get out of here. I'm leaving.
So if somebody starts shooting at the police just like get in a car and run away?
Yeah, when it's ISIS coming after them,
what kind of country is this?
There you go.
What? And this is where immigrants are coming from into Europe. This is a mess. All of the people, they're lawless. They have no laws within themselves.
Additionally, though, I want to break this down for you guys. The older gentleman said, "Who hasn't grown them?"
They all 90%. They're only
Which what I find really interesting.
We're all sad deep down.
Is you would think if you're growing opiates like this, that you would be using them, right? But we all know where that road leads. It leads to an epidemic. It spreads like a disease. And so I have to tell you, these people are doing this, and I would guess, by and large, they're not using it at all because they know it's a killer. And they have no problem sending it to the Canada or the United States or anywhere in the West where they know it's going to kill Americans. It's not that they're not growing it because they think it's this wonderful crop, right, that they can enjoy. It's not like tobacco,
it's their
right?
way
if they were growing tobacco, everybody would be smoking a cigarette. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's not, that's not what's going on here. They're not using it. They are waging jihad with using poppies and the opiates. And like Patriot Gallery said, our government's funding it and they want it to happen. We have noticed that it is not because of the societal I don't want to say breakdown. It's not because of any other reason than purposeful that around where we live, the worst areas that it's hit are in poorer communities. And it's not because people are just stupid or dumb or uneducated and that's why they're the ones that go after the drugs. It's because that is where they direct to get rid of the undesirables, the backcountry people. They go to farms and country cities where they want to get rid of farmers. They want to send everybody into the city. So we have it, yes, in downtown Cincinnati, but we also have it out in Hillsborough, which is our kind of a country town close by where we live. And it's kind of like they're doing it on purpose and we know it. And these people are happy about it.
Yeah, heroin is a multi-billion-dollar business supported by powerful interests, which requires a steady and secure commodity flow. One of the hidden objectives of the war was precisely to restore the CIA-sponsored drug trade to its historic levels and
exert direct control over the drug routes.
It's not to end the drug routes; it's to control them and to make the money themselves. So
exactly. When you see, so when you're a crook, which is what these unelected official groups like the CIA and stuff like that are. They see money happening and it's like, no. We're not going to stop it from happening, but we're going to control it because we want a piece of the pie.
I wanted to show you this other just kind of headlines while we're looking at it. This is from RT. I'm just going to read this. U.S. discovers $1 trillion in Afghan mineral deposits. There's a lot here that...
There's so many reasons
why we're in Afghanistan is not terror, and it leads me to more and more believe that 9/11 was funded by the CIA to get us into Iraq, to get us into Afghanistan, to get these things moving, to make these things happen.
Mass destruction. Not over there.
Not over there. To say, and you can reset it just in case they can't hear me, is the reason
Chucky Schumer
and
and
the
his little
FBI and the ex-CIA agents and all these places hate Trump and they want to Mueller and his gang of people, the Clintonites. They want to get Trump and they want to impeach him because Trump wants to go after their drug cartel.
Trump is not
Washington D.C. They want to impeach him because he wants to stop their drug cartel.
The last president not in on all of this was Reagan. He has said that there are clandestine.
He was still caught by him.
He was, well, I mean, he was tried to. It was also tried to assassinate him, but he did say there are underlying groups, and Kennedy said that. But you had Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama. They're all in on it. The reason everyone has to hammer Trump, even though he's pretty much. He's not internally pro-life. He doesn't mind the idea of universal health care. There's so many Democratic-leaning ideas that he has.
Gay marriage, things like that.
Exactly.
But he is doing what the people want, as opposed to what he feels inside, and that right there, my friends, is why Leah and I will continue to support him and support the people that support him so long as he continues to do that.
Right. I'm gonna end this here with the RT here.
This money's got to come out clean on the other side. Support for the ongoing war may not be high, but believe me, these corporations are in it for the long haul. See, a strategic pact that will allow a U.S. troop presence to remain in Afghanistan until 2024 has already been signed. So baseless rhetoric and propaganda aside, here's the cold hard truth. This government is fighting a war on drugs worldwide with millions of non-violent drug users rotting away in prison. Yet on the other hand, the U.S. is at the very least nurturing the largest source of the deadliest and most addictive drug on the planet. So you tell me what the occupation of Afghanistan is really about.
And she pretty much sums it up there.
Yes, she does. So we're going to sign off here. You guys can leave comments below so that we can hash this out. Bring your facts. Bring alternating arguments and discussions. Keep it nice and friendly. Don't forget to subscribe, like. Our slogan is always, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. And that's what we have right here. We brought that to you. We love you guys. God loves you. And God bless.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass 3 and Resistance Chicks. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter.
I kind of did all that, but I just mixed it up a little there. That's okay. Because it's now reiterated. Okay, bye guys.
Cold, all alone, no place for home, every day, so afraid, but you called my name.